Welcome again to the show, and tonight we're at Jashan. It's gourmet Pakistani food. They've just opened up and rules in Karachi have changed because of the pandemic, so they can't actually serve customers at the moment, so it's quiet. It's not because their food isn't good. We're going to test out their food tonight, but they're quiet because no one's allowed to be here. They've been kind enough to allow us into the restaurant, go in the back of the kitchen and give us a private dinner, which is allowed. This is their non-alcoholic bar where they make all their lassis and mocktails and all the Pakistani drinks, all the limca, all the lemon and mints, all the sherbets, right? And so we'll be checking this later tonight. But first, we can head up to their kitchen and see what they're cooking up for us. We're in the Jashan kitchen, and the kitchen, they're only using about 30% of the kitchen space. They have another floor entirely, which is just the kitchen, but because it's just delivery at the moment, they're not using the whole space. This is the tandoori section. You can see the naans, the parathas, oil there for the paratha. They're getting all the doughs ready. They have a handi section over there, which is where they cook all the handis, right? Karahi is over there. They've got a sajji section over there. You can see the big leg of lamb and the chicken. There's nothing on the kata kat at the moment, but that's the takatak section over here, and the barbecue section, finally. And he's taking some chicken. This pot's called a handi. This is butter badami handi. They just thrown some chicken in there. So that oil was sizzling hot, like really hot. You can see the flame underneath. This is intriguing. So he's getting the handi on because the rest of the dish is probably going to be cooked in the handi. And it's a clay pot and he's getting it very, very, very hot. So he's adding a whole lot of butter ghee to the handi. Now he's going to take that chicken out of the oil, right? So it's just the oil was basically just used in the karahi to fry the chicken. It's been added to the butter. Okay, now the spices start coming in. First thing, turmeric. It's about a teaspoon. Just throws in some green chilies. That's red chili, cayenne pepper, salt. Adding in some crushed tomato. It's about a cup. Everything's just boiling together. And again, the onions are going in last. And again, it's just, I've always been taught, and most of the cooking I've seen, the onions kind of go in first with the ghee. And this is fascinating. So he adds the jiru, which is the cumin, and the black pepper, almost at the end of the dish. Coriander. Dana, yeah. Coconut. You see that coriander was chunky. It was ground coriander, but quite chunky coriander. As you're biting it, you're gonna bite in some of those coriander seeds. It's gonna make the dish delicious. He just tops it up with some oil. The tomatoes and the oil is kind of separating, so the dish is almost gonna be ready. And you add some cream in the end just to give it some more butteriness and more richness. Very, very lovely, rich dish. Again, a good stir. And it's becoming a lovely color. It's starting to look almost like a butter chicken of sorts. Just garnishing it now, some ginger slices. It's the garnish of choice in most Pakistani restaurants. A green chili, some coriander, fresh coriander. And here come the almonds. And that is the handi. And we're going to eat that later. And that looks absolutely delicious. The next dish is Peshawari mutton karahi. The mutton's been pre-boiled. And now he puts it onto the heat. I just love how nothing has a handle and they're always using these tools, these implements, this thing over here. I love how they use these things over here to just handle the dishes. No handle, so I'm not going to try because I'll burn someone. But there we go, Peshawari mutton karahi. So he's added some oil and it starts getting really hot. So he added some ginger garlic masala. Well, just ginger garlic masala. And you can see he's got so many on the boil. He's got a bunch of karahis on the boil. On the fire, I should say. Some chilies go in, throws in some tomatoes. I love how they cook. Tomatoes aren't really cut. So they extract the juices and I think they start discarding the skins after a while. A cup of water goes in and now he covers it. I just love how they just discard the tomato skins. Just smash the tomato and the skin goes. And they clean up after the dish is made. We saw this throughout Pakistan. Whenever they make a karahi, whenever there's tomatoes involved, they throw in the tomatoes, and then tomatoes the skins get discarded just as they stir it up. It's going to add some yogurt, give it a bit of thickness, and it's going to make the consistency of the entire gravy of that karahi nice and smooth. Adding in some green chilies, black pepper, that's the jeeru, some garnish, so some coriander, and some ginger, and that's the dish. Some chilies, some more chilies, Peshawari, mutton karahi. Imagine how tough this is. I'm seeing they're going to make like 7 dishes, and only then we're going to start eating. So it's going to be a long night, but I mean, it's a very exciting night. No better way to whet the appetite than to look at them eat, and then, you know, if once I'm experiencing what your viewers experience, you just see the food and you can't eat it. Peshawari dum karahi. So this is going to be goat, and obviously goat's quite tough. So they pre-cooked the goat, and now they're just warming it up. Whole green chilies. Some lemon. So he just throws in a chunk of vinegar and some salt. That vinegar is going to take out that goatiness from the meat. And that's just been stewing in steam and its own fat and chili and vinegar. Continues to add water because the water just steams out. Throws in some vinegar without opening it, so it all cooks in its steam. Very light dish, hardly any spices added. Just lamb meat, lamb fat, chilies, vinegar, salt. Peshawari dum karahi. And look at that, you can see it's soft. And that's the dish. So this is the Jashan masala chops. These are lamb chops. I haven't had any lamb chops since I've been in Karachi, and it's something that I love. I love Pakistani lamb chops. I'm very excited about this. Look at that marinade. It looks like there's a bit of cumin in there, and pepper, and turmeric, and red chili, ginger and garlic. Looks amazing. This is the Bihari kebab, and this fire is very, very hot. That's also a delicious kebab, but that's not what we're having tonight. Look at these bastings for different things. They've got oil and they've got different masalas depending on what they're cooking. The lamb chops are going on. So there's the lamb chops all stacked together. Put in this contraption. There's a mixture of kebabs. There's an Arabic shish tawuk. There's a Sikh kebab. There's the Bihari kebab. There's the mutton chops. And then you're just getting a bunch of peppers and a bunch of tomatoes. You're just putting some oil over that Bihari kebab. Looks amazing. Looks really delicious. So the prawns get onto the fire and they're not even marinated yet. They're going to be basted as they get ready. The fire is sizzling. Everything looks totally delicious. So he's just brought the prawns towards him and he's marinating it with this masala, tandoori masalas. It's just a light smear. It's not dunked. It's just a light smear of all the spices. So those lamb chops are almost ready. They crisp prawns are ready. Wow, this is very nice. Key decoration. Just garnishes that, makes it juicy with some oil. Oil into the fire as well. Look at that giant paratha just cooking in the oil, in that deep oil over there. Turns it over. That's a huge, massive paratha. That's paratha. These are rotis, and this is the tandoori. So these are all the naans. The naans, the rotis, and the paratha. Everything just comes out really quickly. The kitchen's getting really busy. They're starting to get their orders in. And this fresh paratha has just landed. And that looks delicious. It's flaky and it's doughy and it's soft and it's almost got a sweetiness to it. Delicious bread, totally delicious bread. First up is the atishi jinga. It's barbecued shrimp. The marinade is just added at the end and it's really good. This isn't fresh off the barbecue because we've been cooking all the food together, and if it was fresh off the barbecue, I can imagine this is quite sensational. It's very hot. Like the tamarind chutney I just had, it's very, very hot. This is just under $8. It's about $7.80. Which is kind of costly by Pakistani standards. But I mean, there's this culture in the defense area. We had a reclaimed part of land. It's close to Dardarya. And there's a culture within Pakistani culture of sort of coming to the coast. There's lots of restaurants on the coast. At the moment, they're all closed because of COVID. And having sort of, more expensive food. And this food is delicious. It is a bit on the expensive side. And only because of that, I'm going to give this 8.8 out of 10. But it's really, really delicious shrimp. This is called Peshawari Mutton Karahi. And it's got tomato and it has all the spices at the end. Just at the end, they add basically all the spices right at the end of the dish. Very good. Very, very good. This mutton is soft. It's $11.30 for this dish. Again, everything tonight's going to be a bit more on the pricier side because we're on the seaside, we're at a fancy restaurant. The idea behind this restaurant is to bring a lot of the authentic dishes from like inland Pakistan, from various villages. What I've learned in my time here in Karachi, and what I'm sure most people in Karachi know already, is that depending on which village you come from, depending on which part of a big town you come from, the way you cook a karahi, the way you make a kebab is slightly different. And so the partner here is from Peshawar and is wanting to sort of bring these dishes. You find them on the streets sometimes in Pakistan, but kind of like give it the 5-star experience. And this is really delicious korma. From all the mutton korma I've had in Pakistan, this so far is the best one I've had. It's really, really nice. You can't taste any of that sort of meaty flavor. They've cooked it really well. Delicious, really delicious. I'm going to give this, again, it's slightly on the expensive side because it's an expensive place. And only because of that, I'm going to give it, it's not ridiculously expensive. Most karahis, even at like sort of street places, I mean, it's not going to be really, really cheap. So it's slightly more expensive. I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. Really awesome, really delicious, fantastic, fantastic meal. Now I'm going to have some seekh kebab. You can taste the onions in the kebab. Beautiful marinade. You can taste the onion in here. And again, it's gotten a bit cold because we've been trying to get everything together with part of the shoot. It's not ridiculously expensive compared to the other dishes in the restaurant. So that's about $5, which again, by Pakistani standards may be expensive, but I'm guessing for, the style of this restaurant isn't that expensive. And it's a very, very good seekh kebab. A very good seekh kebab. Based on that, 9 out of 10 for that. Next is the Angara bochi. It comes with these peppers and onions. It's cooked in a thick masala. This is just under $5 as well, right? It's about $4.90. It is very, very good. It's got a thick yogurt sort of marinade. You can kind of see that it's all collected. This has just been cooked on the charcoal. And the onion and the pepper give it a good flavor. You can taste the barbecue and the charcoal. Again, off the fire, this must be sensational. It's a very, very good kebab. It really, really is a good kebab. I'm just trying to think of how to actually evaluate this. I'll give this a 9.4 out of 10. It's a delicious kebab. It's totally, totally delicious. I'm just gonna have some of the jeera rice just to break what we're eating. It's a big portion of rice. It's just $2.40. Actually, it's about $2.60. Delicious rice. Amazing, amazing rice. Get some of those fried onions in the jeera. Right. I've already had a bit of that karahi, but I'm just gonna have one more piece of karahi with this rice. Obviously, it's supposed to normally have karahi with naan, but I'm just testing this out. This rice is very good, very delicate rice, great quality rice. 9.3 out of 10. This is the Peshawari dum kebab. It's goat, and it's literally just cooked in salt and vinegar and chilies and its own steam. You get a piece of meat and its own fat as well. Like they add the fat there, and that's not for you to eat. That's just to add flavor. I guess you could eat it if you want. You know, everywhere I go in Pakistan, like someone makes a karahi and they'll be like, this is like no karahi you've had before. And so when he told me that, I mean, I did believe him. But this is a very, very different karahi. I mean, very, very different. It's literally just vinegar and salt. There isn't even pepper in that. I mean, it's a very good dish. The meat's not completely tender, but it kind of is meant to be something you kind of chew in and you break. And get chapati to get that lovely, this kind of vinegary, goaty, salty, chili. Oh, that's amazing. That needs a spoon. This is totally delicious. This over here. This is why they add these big fat chunks in. So it all cooks down. And this is a very, very good meal. It's a bit on the expensive side. It's like $12. But again, that's like, I mean, it's not so much more expensive than you would find at other places. And it's just the price which is stopping me from giving this like a 9.9. I'm gonna give it a 9.7. It's a very, very good dish. Something different. I don't think I've had a karahi that looks that bland before, but really the taste is impeccable. Kind of getting myself into trouble by having some more because I still have a lot of food to review, but I can't stop myself. This is a very, very good dish. It's delicious. It's just, you can taste that vinegar and those chilies. Let me actually suck out a chili. Give it some flavor. It's hot, but it's not overwhelmingly hot. You can easily eat the whole thing. A lot of the flavor of the chilies already come out. It's starting to boil now. I can feel the heat coming. Totally amazing dish. So far, that's the standout for me. Very, very good dish. Okay, let's move on to the mutton chops. I haven't had mutton chops in all the, this is about our 9th day of filming. And I would have expected to have this dish within the first 3 days, but we've had a very busy schedule. You've been seeing us. Again, there was some time taken to kind of set this all up. And I mean, it could have probably been done better, which means some of these chops aren't as hot as they should be, especially the barbecues. But this is absolutely unbelievably tasty. Unbelievably tasty. Wow. Just under $8, which I think given the place isn't that expensive, given this particular place, given where we are and the decor, not by average Pakistani standards. Oh wow, it's very good. That's an amazing chop. An amazing, amazing chop. I'm gonna give this a 9.7. It's a really, really good chop. So butter badam handi, and it's chicken, right? And it's like a butter, it's almost like a butter chicken, but it's made in a handi and it's got almonds in it. I think this will be good with some paratha. It's a rich dish. You saw how a lot of cream added, a lot of butter added in the start. It's rich. Very filling dish. You can get the richness. This has a very different flavor. It's actually thicker, and it's kind of thicker and even richer than a butter chicken, but it has a slightly different flavor. To me, it's a bit on the heavy side, and I am eating a very heavy meal, so maybe that's the reason. I can see there are people who absolutely love this dish and would probably rate this dish as the highest from all the ones we're having. For me, it's just slightly on the heavy side. It's a very good dish. The flavors are amazing, slightly on the heavy side, so I'll give it about an 8.7. And it's $12, and that's a bit pricey too, but it is a very, very good dish. Now beef bihari boti. And again, and you can just see this because all that masala, you know, so much of that masala. And so it's a kebab, but there's just so much masala around the kebab. It's almost hard to grab a piece. And that's very hot. And so you kind of see it. I'm gonna get a squeeze of lemon. What I love about this masala is that it changes the texture of the meat entirely. It's like you're almost you're almost not like, I mean, there's absolutely nothing about the meat that's chewy. It's like you're just actually biting into pure masala. Like you can taste there's meat there obviously, and it's not even minced meat, it's pure beef. But the masala kind of tenderizes the meat beforehand while it's marinating, and it coats the meat so well. It's almost too soft. It's totally amazing. And again, it's not an expensive portion. That's just over $5. And again, for restaurants with this kind of decoration, with this kind of class, in this kind of place, that's a good dish. That's 9.4. That's a very, very good dish. So now, traditionally you should have this before the meal, right? But we've started eating, and as we're eating, they just kind of brought us these snacks. This is puri chaat, so it's just puri, and it's underneath is a bunch of yogurt and chickpeas and masala. And it's kind of like a salad dessert kind of thing. I shouldn't be having the whole dish. You know, usually it's just like you kind of dish out from here, and this is for the whole table. A great accompaniment. You know, it's kind of like something as you come into a restaurant, or to someone's house or someone's party, and just kind of lying on the table, and just have a small bowl of this just to kind of start wetting your palate. And I think considering where we are, it's a massive portion. Like a family of 5 could possibly eat from this, and it's just over $2, so that makes it really valuable for money. And this is the pani puri. You kind of have all your chutneys that you're going to put in. Again, this is an incredible price for a portion. This whole portion is like just under $2. That was just over $2, and that's a decent sized portion. I know this stuff's not expensive on the street. This stuff's like literally a few cents. But it's nice to sort of come to a fancy restaurant and have it served here. And they kind of have a cart. It's not in action obviously now because of the coronavirus. But they kind of have a cart in the restaurant where you can kind of have this. And I think I can imagine it being a very lively experience for the families when they come here and kind of, so the various chutneys, I think this is mango, there was raita, and this is going to be amli, right? Yeah, I know, I'm dipping everything with the same spoon. It's one of the joys of being able to eat alone, right? Oh, water explodes in your mouth. I love this snack. Very good snack. Again, I'm not a great fan. It's not like I'll go out and be like, I want pani puri and puri chaat, but I think this is good value for money, and so 8.5 for each of them. Look, this has been an outstanding meal. A lot of diversity, a lot of different flavors. It's different ambience, different environment to where else we've been in Karachi. I mean, it is a pity that we haven't been able to go see a bunch of other places in Dodoria, but this was what we could do. And I just think, given the diversity of food, there's about 50 items on the menu. And I mean, I've never seen a karahi like this, and I didn't think they make karahis like this, and I've seen a few karahis just on this trip. So I'd give this as an experience overall 9.5 out of 10. I think it's something you need to experience. It is something that not every single Pakistani can afford, and it may be expensive for many people. But I mean, I think this is for sort of the upper middle class, the elite people, and it's a fantastic thing to experience, and it's a part of Pakistan that we have to show you. Just right opposite the sea, right opposite the beach, and there's a bunch of restaurants in the summertime that will be open when there's no pandemic. And like again, 11 months of the year, there's hardly any rain in Karachi, so it's fantastic. It's a great thing to come and experience. I mean, personally, I still think, like eating on the street is maybe the best thing to do in Pakistan. But this is about the variety. This is about, getting more than just that. And 9.5 out of 10, you definitely should experience something like this, eating, debonair, traditional Pakistan food. See you guys next time.